To do or not to do the eye roll? The answer is always no. Today, the topic is the eye roll. What is the eye roll? What we know as young teenage girls to do. Unfortunately, it's not just teenage girls who do this. Teenage boys too. No. I had to have a very strict conversation with one of my family members about this topic a few years ago. And I want to tell you why and how it applies in romantic relationships, especially between men and women. So a couple of years ago, one of my family members, her go-to response to many of our conversations and topics that she didn't agree with was to do the right? It usually comes with the mouth movement. It's not just the eye roll, it's the mouth movement and the noise. It's just that's what you want to do to that person. It was so annoying. Everybody in the family was just so freaking annoyed with this person doing this that we had to have a come to Jesus moment. And we had to talk about it because this person hadn't realized how disrespectful that was to the rest of us and how difficult it was to continue a conversation once she had sort of dismissed it off the bat like that. So I bring that up because this person is not the only one who does that. Many people do this, and Matt and I do a lot of coaching calls with other couples, and what we notice is when we're doing coaching calls with other couples and they're both on the line, it's hilarious to see when we bring something up that their husband or partner comments on, she doesn't like it, and we'll get the immediate, she'll be silent about it, but Matt and I see the eye roll and we're like, oh boy, okay, here we go, right? The thing is, too many women, we've gotten used to sort of dismissing when men are either annoying to us or they bring something up that we don't agree with because we weren't allowed to voice our opinion previously. That was our only sort of weapon at the time, is my hypothesis, by the way. My theory is that we sort of learned to do the eye roll as a way of dismissing stupid, idiotic men or ideas, especially when they mansplain. Right? So when it comes to when you're at the workplace, it's a whole different animal. Although doing the eye roll, especially in a professional setting, does not go in your favor as a woman or as a guy. It just looks so childish to do that, right? Because it's so demeaning to yourself and to anyone else. So it particularly irks a man in a partnership if his woman does this to him, because he can no longer be logical about the conversation moving forward. I mean, who can? Because he's already so pissed off at her disregard to the conversation. And then too many women wonder, well, he doesn't even talk to me. Well, why would he if you're dismissing him right off the bat? Okay, so be careful when there's something that you don't like or something you don't agree with to not do the eye roll. Here's the tricky part. Most of the women that I bring this up to and I tell them, hey, you just did that eye roll, they don't even know they're doing it. They don't. That's what's scary. I didn't know I was doing it back in my early career. Somebody had to call me out on it and I was so embarrassed that I never did it again. I do it now when I'm really annoyed with someone and I'm sort of like walking away at their stupidity. I'll probably do it to myself or in the car, but I never, ever do it with Matt. Well, first, it's very rare an opportunity that I even get the chance to do that because we don't really have those kind of stupid, silly fights. But it's one of the things that I had to bring up because I see it so often and I actually grew up with that. I grew up with seeing that in relationships with my aunts and my uncles, and it's part of our culture to sort of minimize whatever the other person is saying and do the eye roll. And it tends to happen. I see it a lot more for the women doing it to the men. So that's why I bring it up, because if we do want to have an open conversation about whatever topic it is, ladies, doing the eye roll will immediately shut him down because there's no longer any vulnerability. He's pissed at you, and now you can't have a conversation about anything. So be careful with the